Brad, for starters, what are your impressions of Alaska Fairbanks?
Yeah, they're a hard team. They play with a lot of energy. They pressure a lot. Yeah they play with intensity and they have high compete. And obviously they've been here a little bit down here, I guess, as far as at the GLI, and then they practice here at the Ralph here for a few days, and they're on an extended road trip. But at the end of the day, they're a good team. They're high in the pairwise rankings, and they have an experienced team that we have to be ready for.
What do you want to see from your squad this weekend?
Well, I mean, obviously we compete as well, and we're a hard team too to play against, and I think just that side of it, having everybody, the depth of our team, bring it this weekend on Friday night, and getting back to the way we play, our identity, and I think part of that is having guys coming back into our lineup and having consistency with our group here that we had before Christmas break.
Yeah, do you anticipate your two defensemen, Livanovich and Zmolic, should be ready? Yeah.
Both in. Ludwig Pearson in.
Yeah. How is he?
Carson Albrecht in.
Oh, full squad
Yeah.
then. Tough lineup decisions then for you?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the beauty of having a good team and guys that are team first is, guys that are, waiting for opportunity, and once they get it, they embrace it. And, Carson Albrecht's a prime example, going through his career and being in and out of the lineup and finally getting an opportunity. And unfortunately, he was nicked up with an injury for an extended period of time in the first half, but now he's back and getting an opportunity again. And I think that's the teams that win a lot are guys that know their role and being team first and ready for that opportunity. And again, it's nice to have guys back in the lineup.
What has Garrett Pike added to your squad this year?
Just experience, consistency, a guy that can calm the play down a little bit, a guy that's seen a lot of college hockey and different situations, and he plays a kind of a vast role for us. He plays 5-on-5 power play, penalty kill, and just an experienced leader back there. And it's nice to have. And anytime that you turn over 8 defensemen, which normally that doesn't happen, it's nice to have guys like Garrett Pike back there to bring that experience, not only with the other guys, the older guys, but the younger guys coming into the group as well.
Were there elements of his game you saw that made you want to recruit him when he was in the portal?
Intelligence. You can't teach a smart player. Like at the end of the day, you can get players better, but at the end of the day, if you have that hockey sense and that high hockey IQ, that's a great thing to start with. And then add into his mobility, his feet, very good, very agile, quick. And then his habits and details, he can shoot the puck, he can pass the puck, he can make that good first pass that defensemen do. But just having the ability to think the game is a big deal, and we love having players that can do that.
What has been the emphasis on 3-on-3? Things that you like, some points of that you want to see if it comes up again?
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah.
But if it does come up again, we worked, obviously today we worked a lot on it. Just the habits and details of what gets you success. And, you want to score on the 3-on-3, but I think you got to be very discerning, and you got to be smart about it too. Like at the end of the day, we capitalized early on in the season with Jackson Blake and some guys scoring some goals early. But I think one of the things you got to be patient, and you got to get the look that you want. And it's a 5-minute overtime period, and it's a situation where if you're patient and you can try to have possession of the puck, try to get a look that you want, and if you don't see that look that you want, that's a high grade A opportunity, because goalies are so good now. Just hold on to it, bring it back, have a situation where you get the look that you want. And the other thing for me too is changing at the right time. Not getting extended out there and tired where you can't get back into your zone. And so there's a lot of things that go into it, and we want to keep working on it. And at the end of the day, there's points to be had later on here too in the regular season. We got a ton of NCHC games, and if we do get to that 3-on-3, we want to make sure we're ready for it, and we keep working on it in practice.
Why was Alaska a team that you guys wanted to play here?
Yeah, you know what? We've got some history with them. They were in our league before, and there was a situation. We went up there a few years ago too, and I think it's just helping the game of college hockey. It's tough when you're Alaska and Alaska Fairbanks. You're playing an independent schedule, and that's tough to do. And I think just growing the game of college hockey and keeping college programs in the mix, and they do a really good job. Well coached, They play extremely hard. They're very good structure-wise. And at the end of the day, I think you want a taste of all different leagues. I think we've done a good job of playing Hockey East, ECAC, CCHA, Big Ten, to get an independent team in here as well. I think that gives us a cross-section of what college hockey looks like.
Ben Strinden just praised your attitude a lot.
Mine?
Yeah, yours. Surprised, right? No.
Love it.
In terms of not having the locker room atmosphere reflect what the last 3 games have shown.
Yeah. And again, I think, as a coach, behind closed doors, you get a little frustrated sometimes. You want the best for your players. You want to try to uncover every stone for your players as far as to give them success. Part of that is to kind of really look at the game. And I think sometimes whether you win a game or whether you lose a game, you can get pretty emotional on what that looks like in the locker room. And I think you got to take a step back. I think you got to look and see what your team's doing. Our team's doing a lot of really good things. I think we're getting beat up a little bit because of our 3-on-3. We're losing games 3-on-3, and I think our team's getting painted the picture of losing 3-on-3 games. We have a lot of good in our locker room. You got to look at the glass half full here. I think the question becomes, and it's probably going to be coming from you, is, well, how do you not get to 3-on-3, and how do you close games out? That's a great question. And I think it's one of those things where we probably have to do a better job of, scoring the first 2 goals in the game against USA, trying to smartly score the 3rd goal. Usually in hockey, it's a race to 3. First one gets 3 goals, you have a great chance to win. If you get the 4th, even better. But having that killer mentality, or having that way to lead from the front and continue on and not have deviations in your game. And I don't think we ever had a bunch of that, but at the end of the day, of trying to make sure that you can close that out in 60 minutes with a concerted effort by the depth of your team.
That was a good answer.
I probably got away from the original question.
Well, no, because you're right. You haven't lost a regulation game in almost 2 months. You're seeing it, right? Like you're seeing the parts there. It's just completing it all.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? When you look at it, too, we played a lot of overtime games, winning games and losing games. And so, to me, the question becomes, how do we not get to that? And believe you me, I think, switching lines around a little bit. We've got new lines coming. Having some freshness in our group. Sometimes it gets maybe a little bit stale of guys playing together with each other and just switching things up a little bit. So, we're trying to do a bunch of different things without overcoaching, of trying to let our guys go. But the question about Ben Strinden, I think that's one of the most positive guys in our locker room. Like, at the end of the day, of having positivity in your group, knowing that you're doing good things, but yet being accountable and hard on each other.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit, touching on why you guys decided to put Alaska in your schedule this year. You said you wanted to develop college hockey, play those independent teams. Those programs have maybe a tougher schedule with traveling and not getting to be a part of a conference. How have you maybe seen Alaska specifically grow over the past 5 years even?
Well, through adversity. You look at a program that was in a league. You look at a program that, talk of being shut down and not playing Division I hockey anymore, to having really good coaches that are recruiting to a good program, that are playing a competitive schedule, that are doing really well. I think, they're high up in the pairwise, playing an independent schedule. That's tough to do. The travel, when you think about, going on the road 10 days ago, going to the GLI, sticking around, practicing and then playing this weekend, that's a little bit of adversity. And I think what we have to look forward to is we're gonna be playing a hungry team. We know that, but we got to be grateful in our minds on what we get given here as far as what we're doing. We're in a league. We travel well. We conduct ourselves in a professional manner. And there's some programs that probably aren't at that level. And at the end of the day, we got to be grateful and know that as much is given, much is expected.
Being around college hockey for a long time and in the NCHC in general, there's a typical style of or brand of hockey in the NCHC. Do you feel like playing independent teams, you maybe see a little bit different style of play because they play so many different conferences all year?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. And I know the NCHC is a hard, heavy league. I think it's, to me personally, and not just because I coach in one of the teams in the league, it is the best league in college hockey, and for a number of reasons. Skill level, how hard it is. It is. But when you look at Alaska Fairbanks and playing an independent schedule, like, you got to be hungry. Like, you're playing usually some of the best teams around the country, albeit not in a league, but they play with a hunger. And I think you're going to see two hungry teams this weekend go after it. It doesn't matter if one's in a conference, one's not in a conference. It's going to be a man's game out there, and it's going to be a situation where it's going to be competitive, and it's going to be great for the fans, I think.
Can you equate their style of play to maybe another team that you've played even this year or in years past too?
Yeah, you know what? I think the Mankato's, the Bemidji's, that type of series. They have some pretty good skill as well. You know, their top line, and they've got some good defensemen, and their goaltender's been outstanding as well. So, I'd probably allude it to a little bit like that. But at the end of the day, there's not going to be a lot of ice out there, free ice at least. You got to earn everything what you get.
Have you seen a lot of excitement from Garrett Pike just getting to be around his old teammates again and have a little bit more fire going into this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. And I think those are conversations that I've had with him too early on. Like, sometimes you can, get into the emotional side. Well, I was at that program for 4 years and, different things. I just trying to alleviate some of his maybe anxiety, tension, or stress. I don't think he has any because he's experienced and just talked about how even keel he is. But sometimes, you feel, you're with your new team and you feel like there's an obligation there of playing well or playing at a high level. And I just told Garrett, like, you're one of 26 guys in this locker room we're going to get the job done. But at the end of the day, just do your job. You don't have to do any more than you have to.
No one? You are.
Jen.
Thanks. Sorry, mic got a little tangled. One more thing about Alaska, too, is looking back through the history of it and played them twice in 2012, 2010, both on the road. What's that mean a little bit extra to welcome them to the Ralph and for them to experience this kind of atmosphere for the first time as a program?
Well, we don't want to welcome them too much here. They've already been here a week practicing, right? So they've, obviously that's one of the things. I think respect, like at the end of the day, we know their coaches, not their players as much, but, respect of, who they are and what they do. But, when that puck drops, man, it's for keeps. Like, we're out to prove something special here, that we do have a very good team and that we are going to be a team in contention at the end of the year. And I think it's one of those things where you can have as much respect as you want, and we do, and they do for us. But at the end of the day, like, we want to get our game back going again here, and we want to get the second half like how we started the first half here. So again, Friday night, it's for keeps.